Alrighty, guys, welcome back to Stat Chat Sports. We're here looking at our review for round 17 of the AFL season. It's myself, Steve, and BT today, Tazza and Josh back in the twos, the two of them running a bit light today. But look, let's get straight down to business. BT, the game of the week. If someone can watch one game this week, who would you recommend them to watch?
Straight Thursday night, first game of the round, Geelong versus Melbourne. Probably the game of the year, I would say. Melbourne's there's talks Max Gorn will be back and Luke Jackson, so they'll be full strength if those two are back. And Geelong's clearly hitting their strides now right on the end of the season. And the game's down in Geelong, which makes it even more interesting. Yep. So I was going over all the stats, and only thing that was maybe a little difference was Melbourne averaged 10 more contested. Yeah. Everything else is even. And that makes sense because they've got Petrarca and Oliver and Viney and Harms in there who obviously they're just bulls, win the ball. So it's going to be hard to beat them on that stat anyway. But Geelong's clearly hitting their strides, like I said, and down in Geelong, it's going to be very tough for Melbourne, Melbourne's probably still the best side in the comp. If it was at the G, different story. But down in Geelong, it's going to be an absolute cracker of a game.
We always say that, the GMHBA Stadium is a tough place to play for anyone that's not Geelong. So, yeah, you're right. And, we've got a first versus second, I think for the second time in 3 weeks since the Melbourne-Brisbane. So, yeah, it's a great pick. It's a great pick. I mean, if it's difficult to pick someone. It's difficult to pick one. I mean, Melbourne have won the last 3 encounters between the pair. Only one of them was at GMHBA. If you had a pick, I mean, we always do a pick for who's going to win in this segment. Who have you got?
See, I don't know. And I friggin' hate games like this because when you're doing tipping, it's so hard to pick. And if it was at the G, I would have gone Melbourne. And I think Melbourne not easily, but maybe a few goals at the G, but down in Geelong. And it all comes down to these. If Max Gorn is back, then obviously that's going to help. But I think Geelong, and I said a few videos ago that Geelong's not going to lose another game for the rest of the season. So I think I have to stick with that. And I think I'm going with Geelong. Just though. I think I would not be surprised. This is a little prediction that this is the round where there's a draw.
Ooh.
And it could be this game or St Kilda versus Fremantle. And I would not be surprised if this game, it's that close that it could be a draw.
It's interesting you say that because when I was thinking of my bold prediction for this week, which we'll obviously get to a little bit later, I was considering a draw here for this bold to pick as a bold prediction, but I didn't go for it. But it's funny you say that because it's very, very touch and go. And for me, I'm picking Melbourne to win. Not because I'm firmly on the bandwagon at the moment, but it does have something to do with my bold prediction. And it just doesn't make sense if I pick Geelong and then throw out my bold prediction a little bit later on. So Melbourne win it for me. It'll be a tight affair. It will. I mean, you've definitely got the best 2 teams in the comp at the moment. So it'll be a close encounter, but I think Melbourne will just beat it.